The chapter starts where the last one ended. Summers is shocked because the Nika sleep tid monster destroyed the ship and created a huge hole in the sea clouds. So now they can't take the children off the island. Summer tries to stop the kids because they're still walking towards the dock due to Gunko's arrow, but he can't stop them. But suddenly Summer's face changes to a mocking, sinister, and disgusting expression. He's even drooling with pleasure. Summer says, "What the heck? This way of killing them is divine. This is worth a shot. Besides, it will also be the Great One's mistake, since took over Gunko's body. The tears, the callings for each other, this love between a parent and their child. Now this is emotion." Then Summers talks to the children, saying that their original plan was to deliver them safely to the Holy Land. But now that the ship and the sea clouds are all gone due to an unfortunate accident, so the plan has changed. Summers, excited, says, "That means you all will have a terrible death by falling." Colin cries, saying that he won't do any bad things anymore. Then we see a small flashbacks of giant children being scolded by their parents. For example, Colin won a duel to another child and kept his toy, a little robot that looks like Emmeth. Ripley scolded Colin, telling him that since he's much stronger than the other children, that he should be kind to them. When Colin is about to reach the edge of the dock, Ripley appears in front of him and hugs him, injuring herself with thorns. Ripley says, "Colin, come here. Sorry, I couldn't stop this." And Colin says, "Get away from me, Mommy. You're gonna die." And Ripley says, "I don't care. I won't let you die alone." Then, in a very sad double page, we see Ripley and all the other relatives hugging the children and falling down all together to the underworld. But suddenly, the entire Elbaf begins to tremble and something colossal appears. Giant Luffy Gear 5 is with that creature and saves the children and their relatives. The creature is Loki, transformed into a dragon, and the children and relatives all fall on his back. Dragon Loki is a black Western dragon, a mix between a Game of Thrones dragon, but with the head of Sleeping Beauty dragon. And Loki's horns, of course. Loki's eyes look like Big Mom's or Dami reversied creatures. So yeah, here's the big reveal that we got yesterday. Loki's devil fruit. Turns out that he is in fact a dragon, as we have been speculating about for months now, and it's not straight up being said that he is the Nidhogg, but I guess the version of the Nidhogg that we've seen so far in the series, which is just essentially through the sleep tids, the nightmare manifestations of Killingham's devil fruit, was more of just a mock-up, I guess. This still could be the Nidhogg, but we're just not finding out the name of Loki's devil fruit in this chapter, but now we're seeing it, or at least we're getting a description of it. We'll be able to see it, of course, once the chapter is released. Maybe I'll be able to do a review for that on Friday, so subscribe for that if you haven't already. We'll go over what Loki's dragon form really looks like in detail. I also want to see if it looks similar to the dragon that we saw on the mural of the Atom Tree, because that could give us some insight into what it could be or what it might not be. But this is pretty cool. This is what we wanted, more or less. I mean, this is built up as the legendary devil fruit of Elbaf, so it has to be something pretty epic. And as far as I know, I don't think we've seen a Western dragon devil fruit yet. I think we've only seen one dragon in the form of Kaido, right? But he was like an Eastern dragon. And as I talked about yesterday as well, this could be another hint that, you know, Kaido is like Loki's half-brother. After Loki's appearance, it appears to snow in Elbaf, and lightning strikes all over the island. That's thanks to the powers of Loki's devil fruit. No devil fruit name in this chapter. Okay, so it seems like the lightning powers that we've seen come from Loki are from his devil fruit. We thought maybe it was from Ragnir. I thought maybe it could have been from an ancient satellite or something, because, you know, just the way that it looks on the Elbaf mural. Yeah, you know, give me a break, we're just speculating. But now it just seems like this is his devil fruit ability. So since he is a mythical Zoan, which I'm assuming this is a mythical Zoan, he has multiple powers. That's just how it works. That's how Oda kind of bends his power system. And I guess a Western dragon having fire or whatever would be too cliche, or maybe he just wanted to change it a little, because, you know, Kaido has fire, although he kind of has lightning too. Not exactly, but he has like wind and he has like cloud stuff. So Loki just being a lightning dragon or whatever is pretty cool. I guess maybe that goes into like the Norse mythology too. I'm not really sure, but yeah, what we saw of him swinging Ragnir, that was his devil fruit power channeling it into it. So he has both ice and lightning now, because at least the implication of Ragnir is that it has ice. Again, maybe that's not the case. Maybe he has ice and lightning as the dragon, because it starts to snow and lightning strike. So either the snow is coming from Ragnir, or the snow is just a byproduct of this sequence and it's just aura to add to it, or he has ice and lightning from this devil fruit. But you know, we'll see, I guess. Dragon Loki gets the children and their relatives to safety. Then he starts fighting the Sleeptid monsters. At the same time, the sound of drums begin to be heard on the island. Giants are surprised to hear the drums. Summers is furious, and Emu/Gunko observes what's happening in silence. So the drums, I guess, is Luffy? Right? That the drums of liberation, that's like the Nika thing. That's what Luffy does now because he is Nika. And I'm sure this is supposed to be a callback to Joy Boy on Elbaf because he had some kind of alliance with them back in the day. Or maybe even it goes further back than the Void Century. And as for Emu reacting to this, I guess they're just getting the ellipses panel. And, you know, that's fine. I guess we're just going to have to wait to see how Emu really reacts to this because Emu obviously knows what's going on here. If anybody knows, it's Emu. And Emu's, I'm assuming, is worried about this because it seems, and I guess it also is implied, that the Nika fruit is like the direct counter to Emu's power, or it most likely will be. You know, also given how they reacted to Joy Boy's hockey being released, I'm sure they're not very happy about this. In one of the most epic last double pages in One Piece, we see Dragon Loki destroying everything in his path and defeating many Sleeptid monsters. Luffy, Gear 5, and Squirrel Ragnir are on top of Loki's head. Luffy is around 4 times bigger than Squirrel Ragnir, but Giant Luffy is just about a third of one of Loki's horns. So imagine how enormous is Dragon Loki. Okay, I can't wait to see this panel, because it does sound pretty epic. Again, these Sleeptid monsters are just jobbers. They're doing their job, just showing how ridiculously strong Loki is. And given that he is so ridiculously strong, either we're going to see Emu's true power here, or he's going to get Dami reversing. There's not enough beef here, aside from Emu themselves inside of Gunko. So that's going to have to be the real test here for Loki. He's fighting against Emu. And also freaking Luffy's here in Gear 5 Giant mode. It's like, yeah, there's going to be some kind of Dami reversing or some kind of shenanigans going on. Or hopefully we just get a clean fight between both of them taking on Emu inside of Gunko, but then again, Emu is the final villain, and I'm sure Oda is trying to save that final battle for, you know, the very end of the series, or at least near the end of the series. Chapter ends with some final words from Jarl. Jarl says, "On the day of the lightning snowstorm, a gigantic beast appears, covering the sky, and along with the drum of liberation, the sun god descends." Luffy says, "Ah, this is so funny. Look how big you are." End of chapter. Break next week. So yeah, this is pretty epic. I can't wait to see what this chapter actually looks like, but let me know what you thought about it in the comments, guys. If you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.